Hello and welcome everybody back to our Pathologic 2 Let's Platinum. We are now at the start of day 2 and we're going to kick things off by sleeping for a few hours. Then we're going to make our way back to the Soul and Halves base to pop the in-kind trophy.
Loving thy neighbor is a gift. Hatred is hard work.
So we've reached the Soul and Halves base. You'll get a message every time a new day officially starts. The day starts officially at 8 AM, like this one here that you're just about to see. And you'll also get a bunch of new thoughts and quest markers to check out. But before we head inside, I want to check this skip here. There's nothing in there. But if I head around to the back of the warehouse, we'll also find a chest. Now it's potluck what you'll find in here. We find nothing too exciting, just a paperclip. So moving on then, let's head inside and speak to Catnip. So we've got plenty of toast. Make sure you have at least one piece in your inventory, and when you speak to her, choose the top dialogue option. The second option that you choose doesn't matter, and once a conversation is over, the in-kind trophy should pop. So we're going to start off the day by heading to Isidore's burial, and it's located in the cemetery. And once you're here, there's a couple of people you should speak to first of all. We want to start by speaking to the Changeling. Now, it doesn't matter what your responses are here.
Stop squirming. Everything's all right now.
Next, we're going to need to speak to Grace. She's a notable character tied to a trophy later on. But for now, choose whichever responses that you want to choose. So after speaking to Grace, we'll need to head over to the crowd of people over here. And there's Isidore, Artemis' father, which is about to be buried. Now, you can speak to anybody in the crowd. What you say here will depend on whether Isidore gets buried or whether Isidore gets burnt. Whichever happens, it won't have any major impact on the future story. So this woman here is Aspity. She's like the go-to woman for advice and leadership among the people. Now, your responses, they won't make too much of an impact, so you can choose whatever you want to choose. There's going to be quite a lot of dialogue with her, so I'll let you read that if you wish. I'm going to be timestamping the major events of the walkthrough in the description. As well, if you wanted to skip to certain trophy related parts, then feel free to do so. I'm also doing individual trophy guides, so the link for those will be in the description as well.
I feel the mothballs rattling inside my heart.
So Aspity will have given you a few items, and you'll have noticed that we've got a bit more inventory space, which will always come in handy. There's also some herbs, which I'll get into in a second, and she's also given us a note. So if you inspect the note, you're going to find a list of names. These will come apparent a lot later on in the game, but for now, we just need to carry on speaking to Aspity until all conversation has been exhausted.
Bayala Yargachin. Bayala. I feel the mothballs rattling inside my heart.
Now you can save your game if you want to here. We can also sleep, which is what we're going to do next. Now this is a door dream, and it's only available on day 2. And this should be your 3rd dream if you're playing along with the Platinum Trophy run. We're also going to pop a trophy here by talking to these kids up on the mountain. It doesn't matter what you say, you'll pop the "we're only looking" trophy once you've exhausted the conversation with these kids. So to win the dream, we just need to speak to any one of the kids here, and then we're going to head through the door.
Shall I tell you a shaggy dog story?
Next, we're going to speak to one of the people whose names were on the list. Now I'm going to go and speak to Grace first, simply because she's the closest, and there's some other things that I want to do around here before we move on.
Do you want me to sing you a lullaby?
So Grace isn't in a very talkative mood at the moment, so we head back outside and we're going to speak to Murky. Now Murky will take us to go and pick some herbs. Herbs are going to be very important in the next few days, as we'll need to be making a cure for this plague.
How many crusts do you have? I've got 2.
If you wander around this area a little bit and pick up a few herbs until a woman known as Evergreen shows up, she's going to give you an item and tell you more about trading and how it's more of a tradition, etc. And once you've spoken to her, now we're going to want to trade with her, and you can give her anything. She's usually going to want healing items. This is also going to trigger a little quest, which we're going to be completing to improve our reputation a bit later on. So after you've picked up the last few herbs, you're going to want to speak to Murky. Now this will trigger a conversation with Grace. She's all of a sudden going to be able to talk to us.
Raymond is still alive too.
But before we speak to Grace, I want to show you a nice little spot where we can grab all the herbs that we need to make our tinctures later on. And that is located right here down at the bottom of the map. So we'll make our way over there, and we're on the lookout for herbs because we need to make tinctures. Tinctures will be useful to heal people from days 4 onwards, and we can also use it to boost our own immunity. And we're going to need these tinctures to make a cure later on, as we'll need to be mixing them with infected organs. Now you'll be finding herbs all over the map. You know you buy one when you hear the sound of flies buzzing around. You'll hear them buzzing around in the day, and you'll see like little specks of light at night indicating where the herbs are. So my advice is it's best to go herb picking at night, but where we're about to go, the herbs are pretty obvious. They're in plain sight, so we can just pick them up. So once we arrive at the old village, we're going to go and find an abundance of herbs. We'll mainly need brown, black and blood swire. And there's plenty of those 3 herbs down here, and they will respawn daily. So 1, maybe 2 trips max is all we're going to need. And as you can see, we'll just group these all together so we make a bit more space in our inventory. We've got enough here to make about 10 different tinctures, but we can't make any tinctures just yet. But coming here now does save us a lot of time, and we don't have to do any herb runs later on. Okay, so let's make our way over to Grace and continue on with our day. So depending on your answers here, we get the opportunity to talk to Isidore. If you choose the replies that I choose on screen, then you'll get that chance. Now, it's not mandatory, but it will give you a little more insight into what's going on, so I'd definitely say it's worth doing. Now, exhaust the rest of the conversation with Grace, then we're going to head back to Ruben's apartment. But the way we're going to go is we're going to head through the crude sprawl and we're going to do a little bit of trading and get some more points of interest to check out. Now what we're going to do here is trade with a kid, a teenager, a male and a female adult. This will complete that little side quest I was on about before and it's going to increase our reputation. If we talk to them all, we'll get more quest markers, especially for the nutshell, which we're going to need to visit for a few trophies throughout days 2 and days 3. We'll also get the location for the termitory, which will become a big part of the story later on. And we're also going to head over there for the start of a trophy in a second. And if you just trade with these kids as well, we'll be working towards that tag trophy. So as always, immunity boosters, fingernails and morphine tablets are going to be high on our trading list. So grab as many of them as you can. Now the Termitory is our next port of call. It is locked, so we can't get in just yet, but if we speak to this group of people here, we're going to receive some coins. Now these coins we're going to need to hand back to the same people back on day 3, and once we do this, we're going to get a trophy. So if you go ahead and choose the dialogue that I choose, and then we're going to head over to the Termitory entrance, and we're going to speak to a guard. So we're going to try to bribe the guard, and he's basically going to say that we need to go and speak to Fat Vlad, which is what we're going to do later on. So finally, for our first part of day 2, we're going to head over to Ruben's apartment where we'll find Ruben and Laura. Speak to them both, choose in whatever replies you want to choose. Just make sure you exhaust the conversations between them, and also we're going to want to save our game.
Stupid. Oh, how stupid I was.
If only I could live a year longer. A whole, endless year.
And I'm going to leave this video here and continue with day 2 in the next video. So if you enjoyed the video and found it of use, then please drop it a like. It really does help the channel out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already for more trophy hunting related content. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care.